Alright, in this video we're going to look at some of the basic functions for plotting data in the COD system. So you can see here we've got an experiment open for U1338. We've got the basic COD menus. That's all we're going to need for this lesson. We have the coring matrices and the offsets, which I always like to have in every experiment. We don't really need them for this particular set of operations. We have images. And we have data. We have GRA and we have MS. So let's take a look at some very simple plotting. Let's plot U1338A and B GRA. So we'll go up to COD data here, plotting. We're going to just use the simple ones. We'll do the multi-plot in a minute. But right now we'll have a new data plot, 1338A, GRA. Since we're going to have two plots, we're going to do this one from 0 to 50% of the y-axis. The y-axis will be on the right. X-axis on the bottom. We're going to use CCSF. This would be like CSFA if for some reason you wanted the data that were not shifted by the offsets. And name the x-axis. So the two default names that we use would be depth and age, but you can enter another one by clicking other x. And if you click continue, you'll see you'll have a chance to name that other axis. And we'll just cancel this. Go back to new data plot again. And so here we are, everything is the same except we are in fact going to use depth and continue, and here's our plot. Now you see it's only taken up 50% of the graph space. If we look here, what we'll see is the axis is named U1338 GRA, and the bottom is named depth axis. So I think we can cancel that. All right, and now let's put B on there. So if we go up to COD data, plotting, now we want to append data. So now it's going to be U1338B, GRA. We'll go from 50 to 100%. Right, to the same depth axis and CCSF. There we go, 1338B GRA. So that's your basic way to plot two different data waves on a graph. Now let's do a different version of that. I'm going to close this guy. And let's go up to COD data, plotting. Now let's look at data multiplot. Okay, so there's 1338A and 1338B, GRA, CCSF, depth axis. It's going to be a new plot. Do we want to leave room for adding the spliced data? In this case, no. But later on, the answer might be yes, if we have a splice. And if we wanted to plot these on top of each other, we would use a single axis. But in this case, we want a multi-axis, that is, we want a separate axis for each of these waves. So we continue, and there they are. And now we can set the data range. So we use set data range. We can set any axis that has GRA in the name. So GRA 1.1, and let's say 1.9. We can do the top graph, or we could do all the graphs on the page, or all the graphs that are open. Well, I'll illustrate that a little bit more later. Now let's continue. And there we go. Oh, except they're upside down. Let's redo that. Set data range, and let's make that 1.9, and There we go. Okay, so that's your basic plotting. Data multiplot, new data plot, append plot. Oh, we got one more, browser plot. So browser plot is just a quick and dirty way to plot a couple of waves without having to worry about necessarily wave naming conventions and that sort of thing. So let's give it a try. First thing you need to do is to highlight two different waves in the data browser. Up to data plotting and browser plot. And what you find is here are the two waves with the full path that you've just identified. And the X wave, in this case, we want CCSF, and the Y wave will do GRA. This is going to be a new one. We'll put the axis on the right, and its depth. There we go. It's pretty simple. Like I say, you don't really necessarily need to have the proper sequence of 3 parts names and that sort of thing. So that's it. That's all the plotting routines.